This is what we do. We grow chicken, right? You know, the first thing we do in the morning is look after those chickens. It's all encompassing. When those chickens are in the barn, that's our job. And so you can really see that the farmers are putting that quality into the business, into the chicken industry.
I think farmers should be incredibly proud about the 60 years of success that has been chicken farming here in Ontario. I think that the demand for chicken will continue, and we should all be excited about that in the future that brings to the chicken industry here in Ontario.
I love being able to grow high quality protein for my family, for my neighbors, for my community, for my province, for my country, and to ensure that it's grown with high standards. I love being able to raise my kids on a farm. Farming is not just a job, it's a lifestyle.
We grow a protein here in Ontario, process it, and deliver it to stores. It's a protein that is the #1 protein of choice in Ontario, and we should all be proud of that.
And so it's really important, right, to grow a good quality product. And I think that really shows and gives that confidence to consumers that they're eating good quality local chicken.
I'm John Jansen. I'm an ex-chicken farmer going way back. When we were working towards getting a board going, I was very active in doing that. Well, before the supply management, the industry operated in a slightly different basis. The chickens were grown, they were hand-picked. At that time, new equipment came in, automatic equipment, new processing plants, and the industry was capable of a fairly good increase.
I'm John Maskant, a chicken farmer from Huron County. For farmers, it was in bad shape. There was rapid expansion, overproduction. I think there was one year when production increased by about 23%, and prices were disaster. Farmers were getting 12 cents a pound. Just to feed and chick was costing 17. They were just in trouble. Farmers were unable to make payments, losing their farms, having trouble getting financing.
There were times when I first started, you couldn't even pay the feed and chick bill. You had to have an assignment of proceeds, so they'd get paid for their feed. And there were a lot of feed mills took over farms, a lot of them.
We were the first supply management program in the food industry. Behind us came the milk board and the egg board, turkey board, and the Minister of Agriculture at the time, Bill Stewart. And of course, we give him all the credit, because if he hadn't have done it, he delegated the authority from the marketing board at Queen's Park to the producer board. He was quite a brave man to do that.
The job of being Minister of Agriculture is not known as a fun job. I must confess. At least I didn't find it that way. But I think the thing that I enjoyed most about the job, the 14 years that I held it, was the opportunity to work with some wonderful rural people. Those commodities, the dairy industry and the feather industry, are the two industries that really are succeeding today. They really are, perhaps better than any other commodities that we have.
Well, we always had a good relationships with Mr. Stewart and his band of people. And of course, we thought that was a very, very important issue. And this was part of that. He had confidence in the 9 people who were producers to operate that board and not embarrass him. At one point in time, he said, "I will do it, but don't embarrass me."
The time has come when we as farm people, when we as processors and distributors and consumers, because they're involved too, should let it be widely known that we defend the right to determine whether or not it's good business to produce yourself into economic oblivion, or whether it's better to use a little common sense.
I mean, there's been some remarkable people. We stand on the shoulders of all those who've gone before us. 9 people will always make better decisions than anyone. Anyone. That's something that's important because, we have to listen to each other and we work together, but we do draw on each other's strengths.
We wouldn't be in the chicken business. We wouldn't be growing chicken business here if it wasn't for the chicken board.
I think supply management has given the opportunity or the chance for small family farms to be successful.
The Canadian government must deliver on its promise to support Canadian farmers at the GATT talks in Geneva. Canada's system for marketing farm products has worked for 2 decades, providing stable prices and a fair return for farmers. But now, that system is threatened by American and European trade negotiators. At a series of rallies over 2 months, angry Canadian farmers demand a commitment from their government.
Article 11 was a blanket protection that stopped a product from coming in, and those products were listed under Article 11, and that gave you border protection. And so different countries used that article, Canada in particular for the supply managed products, but other countries did as well.
Canadian supply management farmers are fighting to keep the system in place. They need you to understand its benefits. They need you to compare it with the alternatives. Most of all, they need your active support.
It was early on in the discussions of WTO, and it was designed as a show of force to the government of Canada of the day, which was to maintain and make sure that they kept Article 11 in the trade talks. And that's what it was about. And so over 30,000 farmers wound up on Parliament Hill telling the government, keep Article 11. And that was probably one of the biggest protests that I can remember being part of ever.
Supply management went to support other farmers.
Yes, and I think it was just a show of support for farmers and not to be giving our industries away at trade talks.
It was a once-in-a-lifetime experience. I mean, you're there with 30,000 people, and it was incredible to behold, like that many people on Parliament Hill, all farmers. It was really something.
It truly is a success story of the supply management system. If you go back in history and understand what happened before this, it wasn't great. It was tumultuous. It wasn't consistent. It wasn't predictable.
So I think supply management really helped with the preservation of family farms. You see a lot of family farms, and you can see it, in our industry. You see first, second, third generation families that are part of this. And I think that's really supported by the supply management system, that really gives that confidence for families to really invest into the future.
I hope at a high level that we have a number of successful family farms in 50 years as well, producing for our province, for our nation. And so we're less dependent on whether it be international trade or the whims of, like I said, exchange rates, of political changes.
Supply management is predictable. When you make these generational changes, you rely on that predictability, and it allows you to make good decisions because you can be fairly confident in the results.
I see strong independent farmers. I see the success of the supply management system, and really, build on what's worked. It's been a success all the way through, and I continue seeing being a success in the future.
We operate these farms using technology, so the controls, it's all using the latest technology to provide a great environment for the birds to grow in. With young family members joining the business who are quite technologically advanced compared to myself, there's an expectation from them that we can do it this way as opposed to the old way.
So one of the things that I find very exciting about the chicken industry is the fact that we grow a protein here in Ontario, process it, and deliver it to stores. It's a protein that is the #1 protein of choice in Ontario, and we should all be proud of that. We also shouldn't take it for granted, but we should be very proud of that and the opportunity that we have here in front of us. I think that the demand for chicken will continue, and we should all be excited about that and the future that brings to the chicken industry here in Ontario.
Right from the outset, I was intrigued with the possibility that we could change an industry and save the livelihood of a lot of people. I get people telling me, you guys are going to fail with that whole thing. Well, we did a world of good for the individual. Hang in there, you got a good thing going. Don't let it go.